Hi everyone! Our group chose to complete our instructional design project on robotics and coding integration. This is our final paper. I won't go through all of it since I know everyone has seen the different parts, but I'll just kind of give a brief introduction to our project. So first of all, our SME is Melissa Dills, who is the Technology Integration Specialist for kindergarten through 6th grade at Hartville Elementary School, which is part of Lake Local Schools in Stark County. So the district had taken an initiative to integrate robotics and coding into all general education classes, and there were specific robots that were purchased for K through 1, which was a Cublet robot. 2nd through 4th grade were given Dash and Dot, and 5th and 6th grade were given Lego WeDo. And the goal was that by the end of this school year, every teacher would at least implement one lesson with the robots. The problem then came to be that the teachers were not viewing some of the resources that Melissa had provided to them, and so because of that, they also were not comfortable with integrating robotics and coding into their classrooms. So the teachers needed some type of resource that would allow them to view all information that had been given to them and that could easily be shared with them from one place, and then also provide additional resources so they could become more comfortable implementing the robots and those lessons into their classrooms. So the first thing that we decided to do was to create a pre-assessment survey to have the faculty take, so that we could kind of gauge where they were and how comfortable they felt with the robotics and coding integration. And then from there, we decided that we would take the data and make a decision on what type of resource we would create for the faculty to access. So based on the data, we decided that we probably needed to create some sort of a website, and that we needed to then create separate pages for each robot, so that way faculty wasn't trying to sift through a bunch of different information and a bunch of resources. That way the information they needed could easily be found on one page. So this is the website that we ended up developing. So on the robotics coding and integrated homepage, we have just a brief introduction, and then we also included learning goals, so that way the faculty knew what they would be learning when they accessed the specific pages. So next we have the Cublets page. Each page is formatted the same. We felt it would be best to start out with more simple concepts and then eventually progress to more difficult concepts. So each page, the first section just tells you about the robot and reminds you to complete the exit ticket at the end of each page when you've gone through it. Next, then we chose to provide an image of each type of robot. So for Cublets, we were able to find one that included the different parts of the robot. So then the next section is how to use Cublet. So we tried to provide like a video and a link for this section for each page. That would just tell them more about how to use them and like the basic parts and pieces of each robot. So then next we included lesson plans with the ISTE standards and Common Core standards, and then the Cublets and the Dash and Dot page also included Teaching Strategies Gold and Next Generation Science standards. To access them, all you have to do is click on the lesson plan, and the standards are provided within the lesson plan. We chose to embed each lesson plan document so that way faculty could pop it out, and then when they do, they can go ahead and print or download and save it, or even save it to their Google Drive if they have one. So then next we have resources. So we went out and found some additional resources like the user manual, lessons and units, frequently asked questions, their YouTube channel that faculty could then access to get more information on the robots and how to implement them in their classrooms. And then we also included prior training resources that Melissa had presented at professional development trainings for the robots, so that way faculty could go back and reference these training resources. And then we also included an exit ticket as part of our formative evaluation. And again, each exit ticket is the same. So 2 things that they learned after accessing the page, one way they could use the robot in their classroom, and then a question that they still have. And then at the very bottom, we tried to include a few more videos that actually show the robots being used. So that way the faculty could see how they could use them in different ways. So then next we have our Dash and Dot page, which again is set up the same way. So it's just a simple about section, an image that kind of shows the different parts of the Dash and Dot robot. So how to use Dash and Dot. So one of the things with Dash and Dot is there are several different apps that you can use with Dash and Dot. So we have a link that includes the different apps that can be used, and it explains how to use them with the Dash and Dot. So then again, we have our lesson plans and content standards, and again, this is an embedded page that can be popped out to be printed or downloaded, and you just have to click on each of these links under skills in order to access the lesson plan and the standards. Again, we have some extra resources that include a YouTube channel, a getting started guide, a lesson library, troubleshooting, prior training and resources, and then the exit ticket. And then again, more videos that kind of show Dash and Dot actually being used. And then last we have our Lego We Do page. Again, we have our About section with an image, how to use the Lego We Do. Their lesson plans were a little bit different. Their lesson plans didn't include the standards, so we ended up including the ISTE standards on a separate document, and also the Ohio Learning Standards for Technology. Our SME, Melissa, asked us to include the Ohio Learning Standards for Technology because those are the standards that she actually uses when doing lesson plans. And we each took several of the lessons and completed the standards for each. So then again, we have some additional resources, a getting started guide, product support. Lego We Do actually provides professional development. So that was something that was brought up in our data that, you know, maybe our SME could get in contact with Lego and see if they could come out and do some professional development. So that way the faculty can learn more about Lego We Do and how to implement it in their classrooms. And again, they also have a YouTube channel. Again, we include the prior training resources, our exit ticket, and then a few videos that show how to use Lego We Do in the classroom. So we gave the faculty about a week to fill out the exit tickets, and basically what we found was that for Qblitz and Dash and Dot, most respondents were interested in learning more about just additional resources, when additional resources would be provided, if they're going to have additional trainings on these robots and when those are going to be, and when additional resources would be added to each page. With Lego We Do, we realized that one issue we had with the page was that not all of the ISTE and technology standards had been added for all of the lessons. So we knew that that was something that we were going to have to go back and do before we fully implemented the website. So along with the faculty feedback, we also got some feedback from our SME via an email, and she really liked that the teachers could find all of the resources in one area, yet they were separated out by the robots, which just made for easier navigation. And she said that next year teachers will be expected to use the robots 4 times, so she is concerned about them having enough lessons. So eventually she would like to add more lessons and separate them out even by content area and grade level to make them more specific to certain faculty members depending on what grade and content area they teach in. And she just basically said that this will be a continual process, really kind of based off of the teacher's needs and what they would like to continue to see. She also said that, she'd like to eventually add lessons that could include blended learning, as well as gamifying the classroom with the robots. And that this might be more manageable for teachers in that way. They also would like to start having grade level meetings once a month next year to review the site along with other things, so that way, she can see what questions that faculty have and how to implement those into the website. So our next form of evaluation was the post-assessment survey that we had faculty complete. And this was just kind of overall, like which page did they access, how did they feel the website was to navigate, what did they think about the information, did they think that the website was helpful, what did they like, what improvements could be made. And then we also wanted to know how confident they felt after, going through the page and then implementing the robots into their classrooms. And then any further questions, comments, or concerns about the website. So most of our feedback from this survey was about the resources and when more would be added, whether or not they would have, more professional development on robotic integration. We did have a few that mentioned with the Lego WeDo about the missing ISTE and technology standards that we had still not added at that time, which was something we were in the process of doing. But most of our feedback centered around, when more resources would be added. Most respondents felt that, the website was easy to navigate, it was helpful, so overall our feedback was very positive, and that most faculty did feel somewhat confident into implementing robotics and coding into their classroom after viewing the page and going through all of the information and resources provided. So overall, our instructional design project went pretty smoothly. We hit a few bumps just, with, I think it was difficult just because with this being an online course and not being able to meet with our SME or our group members face to face, that sometimes it became a little bit difficult just to know who was doing what and, when things needed to get done. But, overall, I think this went very well. We all worked really well together. And our SME was really happy with, what we came up with and how we chose to present the information. A few recommendations that we'll probably make in the future is maybe adding in updates, either a separate page, and then breaking down the updates into specific pages, or just adding the updates to each specific page, so then that way faculty will know when they enter the website what updates have been made. And then again, just, maybe also including like updated information about training, professional development, just regarding the robots to this website. So then that way, faculty always has access to the most up-to-date information. And that maybe, our SME in the future might get some help with managing this page, just because, it was a lot to create, and maintaining it just might also be somewhat time consuming, because, you have to go out and search for some of this information and search for the most up-to-date information. So it may also be helpful for her in the future to have someone that helps manage this website, so that way it's not all on her to do. So I hope you enjoyed our video presentation on our robotics coding and integration ID project.